Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. We have Joao Fonseca versus Alejandro Davidovich Fokina in the second round of the Cincinnati Masters. Looking forward to getting into this one. Before we do though, remember to that like button, do subscribe if you're new, and do leave a rating review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Shout out to our members as usual. Okay, the head-to-head is 0-0. They've never played before. So this should be an interesting one. Fokina, as we know, always puts his, I was about to say A effort. That's the right word. 100% of his effort into every single match. He is a true professional. And it was very unfortunate they had to retire from his Rublev match at the National Bank Open, which was, I think it was like 2 hours and 15 or 30. And two tiebreakers, they split the tiebreakers, and then Rublev was 3-love up, but Fokina had got injured at the start of that set. He'd also beaten Mensik and Mute before facing Rublev, so clearly in some pretty good form. Played the City Open as well, and made the final there, of course, heartbreak against Dimona, and what a run it was. What a run. I mean, he's in some pretty good form. Beat Munar, Tien, Fritz, and Shelton. Shelton, who's just won, of course, the National Bank Open, and then lost to Dimona. He had a match point. He had chances in that match. He was heartbroken, understandably, because he still has not won an ATP Tour level title, which is crazy to think about given the caliber of player he is. He seeded 17 in this tournament, which means that he hasn't had to play a first round, which is good because he's had to recover, of course, from some physical issues. And it seems like he will play. No signs of a pullout. For Fonseca, he had to play Chinese player Bu, beat him in 3 sets after coming from a set down. Looked pretty good. I mean, as always, Fonseca, look, he's a highlight reel waiting to be made in terms of his matches. But there's, of course, the raw immaturity still there at times. And that's to be expected with his age. But he's definitely a player that looks to improve, and he speaks very maturely off court, and he takes it in his stride, so he's working it out. What was impressive in his match against Budo was the 13 aces he hit. That to me is a really good sign. The courts are quick, so not a surprising statistic per se, but we don't normally really think of Fonseca being a big server, but then we forget the height and the power he's able to exert, not just on his ground strokes, but actually on serve as well. And that's a real plus as he continues to evolve his game, will be the service. If he can get more free points on it, then amazing, even better for him. Look, Fokina has a really interesting game, pretty all-round game, very solid backhand, forehand, serve, return. You know, he does everything, I would say, a 6 or 7 out of 10. In saying that, I don't think there's any one aspect of his game that I could say is higher than that I would say, yes, I think this aspect of his game, this quality is at least an 8 out of 10. The forehand, in fairness, can look very good at times, and it can be an 8 or more out of 10. He exerts a lot of topspin on the ball, he can hit in different ways, and it can be a real weapon. But the consistency isn't really there on the forehand. However, form-wise, he's very good. And actually, one aspect of his game that is more than a 6 out of 10 is his physicality. I think his physicality is an 8 out of 10, for sure. It really is. That's one aspect of his game that I cannot floor, and I have to say is up there with some of the best on tour. The same can't be said about Fonseca. So if Fokina is able to drag Fonseca into some longer rallies, which is probably unlikely because this is not a slow clay court, this is a fast, hard court, then, you know, we could be talking about, oh, okay, this is how Fokina could break Fonseca down. However, this match is going to be more about first strike tennis. Who serves better, who returns better, who's able to back up their serve in the most effective way. Fonseca is always looking to attack on the +1 shot. Fokina has also been effectively playing behind his serve as well. and also been serving pretty well in these faster conditions. Good spot serving ability from him. In fact, if we look at his recent matches, I mean, eight aces, even against Rublev in the 2 sets they played. Menchik only the 2, to be fair, against Menchik, and 4 against Mute. So, yeah, not exactly huge serving from him. So we may not expect as many aces from him as Fonseca, but what he lacks in aces, he'll make up for in his physicality and effort that he puts in. How does this one play out? So backhand to back, power-wise, Fonseca can definitely boss Fokina at times. But in saying that, I watched him against Rublev, and there were some very, very there were some very, very interesting points of that match where both players were hitting big, and Fokina was able to soak up Rublev's power, and actually at times he was the one who was able to exert the same type of power and really rush Rublev from the back of the court. So that was interesting to witness. In saying that, I do think with the physical, well, how he's been physically hampered recently, but not just that, he's played a lot of tennis and he has been in good form. This is a tough first match though, and Fonseca has the advantage of playing against Bu. In my bracket, I actually picked Fokina. I'm very tempted to go against that, but I think the level Fokina has been showing, he has been playing above the level expected, and I actually think he's going to continue. And I think he's going to be too solid and not make many errors against Fonseca. And I think he's going to actually induce a lot of errors from Fonseca. I think he's going to use experience, and at times, if he needs to make it a bit more physical, he will. It's going to be harder on the fast, hard courts. But what he does very well, like he did against Rublev, is he soaked up that pressure really well, and his pace absorption was second to none. His change of direction was second to none. I was really impressed, and he looked after his serve beautifully in that match as well. And not just in that match, throughout the last couple of weeks, I think he has been playing really well. Therefore, I think he is going to get the win. I actually think he's going to win in straight sets. Might be a bit cool. Let me know in the comment section below what you think and why. I just think level-wise, he's playing some really good tennis. And Fonseca looked pretty good against Bu, but he's not playing the level that, you know, we saw when he beat Rublev, for example, at the Australian Open. That's not the type of level I'm seeing right now. I still think he's finding his feet, and the form is, you know, I don't think fast hard courts is going to be his best surface, in my opinion, for example. So I think he's still very young. We have to be a bit more patient with him. That's how I view it. I could be wrong, and he could easily come out and play lights out and win, and that's the type of game he has. But I'm going to pick Fokina in straights. Let me know in the comment section below what you think and why. Thanks very much, guys. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.